Hi all, welcome to a special very early in the morning edition of Chess 24 Banter Blitz. So the Paris tournament is still going on, and I think it's a Blitz day for that, so that's why this is a bit earlier than usual. I'll just mute over here. Let me show you this discount code if you want to play streamers at various times in the day. So if you use the Kingscrusher discount code, let me just so the voucher code is Kingscrusher plural, and you get 15% off, and you can challenge any streamers. You just turn up 20 to 30 minutes beforehand and send off your challenge, and we get a challenge list which we work through later. So okay, let's work through the challenges now. So very early in the morning. Fuchs Rudel, hi there. Right, I'll play e4 here and try Vienna game, knight c3 for a bit of variety. Okay, g3 I think here, not f4, might be interesting. So I'm trying to exert pressure on the d5 square. Okay, so castle h3, I think just to stop bishop g4, sometimes that's useful. d3, king h2, f4, f5 later. That's a sort of king's engine in reverse plan that I kind of like sometimes. So d3, king h2, f4, f5. I think I will play that. On queen d7 there's king h2, which unpins the pawn anyway. So that f4, f5 is with a bonus. Let's do this now. Okay. So I've unpinned that pawn. Well, it's possible now to play f4 without total disaster of knight takes e2 check. Yeah, I will play f4 now. So I'm trying to gain space on the king side. This means that the g file could be useful later. G takes, so maybe that g file is useful later. Also, that g3 square is useful perhaps for the knight. So knight g3 here. Okay, there's a couple of things about this position. I think f5 first. If I play e5, I won't be able to play f5 necessarily because the knight's covering f5. So if I play f5 first, this might be a little bit ambitious. There's a check, etc. This might be ambitious. Might be too ambitious. Queen c7, bishop f4. I'm thinking knight h5 there. So perhaps more prudent here would be knight g3. When I say prudent, I mean more. With more concern for the weaknesses created. I think e5 is a pin pawn to start off with. Bishop f4, knight h5. I just can't see that is. That looks a little bit dicey if I played e5 immediately. So here it's avoiding the possibility actually in advance of the pin. Knight g4 is dangerous. Hg, queen h4. I'm lucky to have bishop h3 there. Okay, this is interesting. If I took and then e5 now, this looks under better circumstances for e5. There's no knight h5 possibilities either. And it looks as though f6 is going to be handy here. Hi on chat. Cardinal Superblinds. Remember to challenge me this morning. Don't be afraid. It's early in the morning. You're much more guaranteed of a challenge this morning, I assure you. Because it's like 2 hours earlier than usual. So send your challenges. Keep me busy. Yeah. Okay. So f6. So it looks a little bit dangerous. If ef, knight f6, bishop g5, there's knight g4, no, queen, no, that's a little bit dangerous. I think I need to proceed again with caution here, and maybe queen h5 is the way to go. Trying to pile on the pressure on the kingside squares. So bishop h6, and then maybe even an exchange sack rook g1 later. That g file seems very dangerous for black. Like g7 there. If I played queen h6 here. And so bishop g5 now looks interesting because of bishop f6, the possibility of bishop f6. It's a Paris clash. The Paris, I think, Blitz is today, so I'll also reschedule a little bit earlier than usual. So thank you for any challenges. If you want to do them, that'd be great. Alright, I think I'm going to play rook f6 here and just pile on the pressure on the f6 square. There is an England game on today. I'm hoping England is the favourite later. It's an England football game. Right, I can take that, and then maybe rook takes here. This looks a little bit dangerous for black's king safety. Yeah, and material actually. Bishop takes, rook takes, I think is okay. All right, so here I think bishop takes. I'm threatening mate. Okay, I'll take the queen. Good not to do any pre-moves at this time limit, because queen g7 would lose everything as a pre-move. Yeah, in general, I think try and avoid pre-moves in 5-minute chess. Thanks, folks. Riddle. Okay, we have got another challenge, or 2, or 3, which is great. Thank you for coming this early in the morning. c4 g5. Okay, I'll have difficulty playing c4 g5 in one go, but yeah, we can play this. c4 if you want to play g5. Isn't that the grob? If you really, it doesn't want to play g5. Okay, not in the mood. Okay, it's a sort of grob. Okay. Thanks, Fuchs Rudel. Okay. I'll offer double pawns here. Oh, naughty, 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 naughty. Loose piece alert. On b4, and it's a check. I know it's early in the morning, but my tactical skills are awakened by this loose piece alerts. Thinking there must be a tactic. Loose piece. That was a quick one, a bit too quick considering I haven't got too many challenges, so I'm hoping you'll play more than once, guys, today. Thanks. Thanks. So this looks like a standard position. I've seen the GMs play this a few times. I think a recent game I've seen with bishop e3, I'll try that. So rook c1, knight e4 to c5, that sort of thing. a3 if bishop a6, e6. I was waiting for bishop e6. I think a3. Or even try this trap line I've analysed recently where the a2 pawn's given, b3, and it's like gets tactical. Oh, Anyway, okay, I think this is a bog standard plan of knight c5 here, or is it? I'm not sure really. I'm not sure actually. Do I need to play a3 and b4? Interesting. a3 and b4, do they play any part here? Right, this is often just a better structure for black, taking there. If I played bishop d2 here now, or bishop g5, try and provoke a weakness. Now both knights are holding g5, so can I just bring this back to d2? Just want to create that diagonal weakness. It's sophisticated, isn't it, really, this position? I don't really know. I mean, from what I see from Master Game, as a reverse Sicilian pawn structure, the c5 square is interesting to consider for outposts. And this transitional structure here is often favouring black with pressure on e2. I know that intuitively. Let's see knight c5 here. What's the reaction to knight c5 here? Oh, right. That's interesting. Alright, so a3, the b3 square is bad. What if I played b3, given I haven't committed to too much there? If I played b3 instead, because I haven't committed to a3, so let's just blunt that bishop. I can't easily kick this knight without losing d3. Alright, if I played e4 and bishop e3, is that interesting? No, I think that's bad. I think I need to kick this knight politely away. So I'll play this with the idea of e3. This knight's pretty aggressive on d4. It's tempting, this structural change in black's favour. But if I can politely ask it to go away with e3, and then okay, so e3, where does the knight go? Maybe if f5, maybe e4 forks both knights. On b5, okay, let's do this. There's a4 here, maybe. Well, it might be pointless, mostly. It's possible. Alright, d4 for e4 might be interesting here. Okay, and f3 now. Is that too weakening? What about just b4 here for b5? Maybe queen c2? Right, I can play knight takes g2 there. Okay, my piece is not unraveling too much here. Let's keep going a little bit speedy. Okay, my light squares might be dangerous for a kingside attack later. I have to have some defensive plans available on queen h3. Can my queen get back on the light squares? Maybe b5 here. If I break with b5. Alright, knight g5 to f3 is dangerous immediately. If I take on d5 then knight f4, is that a nice positional sacrifices? I don't think it shouldn't be needed. What about just f4 here? ef, rook f3, knight g5. Okay. No, it is a bit tricky. Alright, just knight f4 to stop knight g5. A knight h6, bishop e3, knight g4. Oh, that's dangerous as well. Okay. Okay, I'm panicking. I'll do this panicky exchange sack just to kick the queen out. Probably not a good idea. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. I just don't see how I'm getting rid of this attack that easily. Well, I've diverted my opponent's attention, I think, to d5. So if there's anything going for this, rook c1 to c5. Yeah, that was a bit of a panic. I wouldn't recommend this while playing. I know I've evicted the queen, but it's at some expense, obviously. But I'm thinking rook c1 to c5. If I can get one pawn for the exchange, I'll be happy without getting mated. So the key point, if I'm not getting mated. Actually, king g2 as well. I was worried about g5, I guess. I think king g2 would be in like g5 hd, knight g5. It's already on h3. No, the knight's covering. fg, knight h5, threatening knight f6. I don't think so. Queen g4. Alright, again, the queen and knight are not coordinating fully, except for the possibility of... So basically, I'll do this to stop queen h3. If there was queen h3 and knight g4... Now, g5 hg is a slightly different story, I think. Okay, so can I actually go with this rook c5 plan now? So there is knight f6. Can I go with rook c7? At least, okay, my opponent's a bit short on time and there's no immediate easy mating hack attack. So I think the exchange sack served its little purpose in a practical sense. I'm not saying in a theoretical sense. In a practical sense, it served its purpose. Although, am I losing a pawn now? Okay. Can I win d5 here? Oh. Yeah, it was a... I couldn't work out how to parry the attack. I gave up there. That was a give up, by the way. This position here is a very logical play from black. Very direct. Black's better. And I think knight g5 to f3, I wasn't convinced by knight e1. So this is just a bit of a bluff, really. Queen goes back. All right, knight g5 immediately. I think is that with an attack again? I think it job's done almost here, but again it goes from -0.5 to -2 here after this with g5. So maybe king g2 is wrong. Now if I played this, what's wrong with g5 now? Right, so knight h5 is better for white for some reason. No, it's better for black. Okay, it was complicated. It was complicated. I don't know. I was under pressure there on the king side, and it was a bit of a panicky decision. This just trying to get the queen away from my king. I think that's the long and short of it. I was trying to get the queen away from my king. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, thanks. Hi. Darius. So let's see. Is Darius there? Hi. Okay, so this is a fairly standard looking position so far. I'll try and stop b4. I think it's pretty standard so far. It might be the case that e4 is punishing that here. If d takes, then bishop takes. That might be a move which is tactically a loose piece liability, which one should be alert to, unless there's a refutation here. I'll give it a go, I think. So it's always good to look out for stuff even before castling sometimes. As long as there's no backfire with my king in the center, this should be okay. So right, so if I took on b2 here and then took on f3, now that looks okay, except I have these weaknesses to take care of. Everything's with a price, so there's a little bit of a price here that I paid. But how exploitable are they? If I played knight f5 or knight d4, trying to it looks okay to play knight d4 and put pressure like this, maybe to encourage f3, which weakens this diagonal. So the bishop can just drop back, I think, on f3 to e6. Okay, I think job done there. It's sort of weakened that diagonal a bit. The e3 square is also, okay, interesting here maybe. So I'm threatening now knight e3. Okay, I'll take that, I believe. Okay, thanks to the game, Darius. Yeah, there's a bit of a tactical mistake there. I've got to watch out for loose pieces being created. Okay, yeah, send repeat challenges, guys, because I've run out of challenges. Repeat challenges, welcome. I'll just type that. Okay, it's a bit early in the morning for this show today. Okay, so London system. I'm going to fix the d pawn because c5 immediately d5. Yeah, that was a slight question I had the other day. Why not c5 immediately for queen b6 to try and punish the London system bishop? The thing is, yeah, d5 by blocking first against d5. Now c5, so I can hit b2. Queen here, there's knight c3 though, so as I mentioned in one of my recent videos, so knight c6 first, because I think queen, there's an interesting line, queen b6, knight c3, you know, taking knight b5, there's an interesting line, anyway. Okay, so I'll go queen b6 now. So the whole thing is to try and cast some downside on the London system here, on the b2 square. And even this tactic, bishop f5, which can happen, which we're not seeing here, but queen c2, bishop f5, so if takes queen b2. So even a tactic revolving around b2. So the whole principle is trying to tap into the little downside of bishop f4. Now here I've had this in the game. With this a file, there's a pinned pawn. And if I try and undouble my pawns here, it slightly weakens the pawn structure a little bit, I believe. I might be able to venture bishop f5 now to control b1. Okay, if I'm controlling b1, okay, if I play bishop e4 here, he probably wants to play f3. Or knight takes, knight takes. I'm thinking there's a threat here of knight takes and also g5. But there's always f3, I guess. But c3 is a concern, surely. So what to do about c3? I mean, let's say rook c1. Oh, I thought that'd be rook a3. Okay, I'm going to take on c3. So I'm hitting e2 now. So maybe e6 and... Okay, if I play e6 now... Okay, e6. Knight b4 seems tempting. Just to push that bishop back or something. If rook c1, there's knight e2 check, forking the king and c1. Let's see, bishop d1. In fact, this and taking here looks interesting. Just to get rid of the dreaded London system, dreaded bishop. Okay, c3 looks interesting. For c2, it might be a bit ambitious though. Rook c1. So maybe actually this first and bring this other rook into the game by castling. Or even if I took in king e7 here, king's in the center. So rook c8 and c3 look very logical. That's pinned, so I'll ignore that. I just want to play c3 here. Right, it's not pinned anymore. Okay, knight c6, change of plan. I'm hitting d4 and I'm threatening g6, trapping the bishop. So I think swapping the h7 for d4. Okay, things are getting tactical. Protect this first, but still g6 is on to try and trap the bishop, and knight takes d4 is on. I'm not sure that helps the bishop being trapped here. There's rook h8 and the king's there as well. Any trapped or awkward looking pieces might be the source of short and longer term downsides in my view. So here I could take on h4 first, take on g4, take on g6. Okay, maybe there was knight d4 as well. Let's check. Alright, thanks, Hooksrudel. Thanks again. Alright. Testag. Okay, hi there. Let's see, it's a sin in defense. Classic Neidorf. Potentially. I think I'll play this or not. Yeah. If takes an e5, I think there's knight d5. Got to be a bit wary about this. I might have to get the door for someone, I'm afraid. I might have to get the door for someone. Okay, I'm going to lose 40 seconds on the clock. Pardon me. Hi, sorry about that. Okay. I'm back. As Arnold Schwarzenegger would say. Schwarzenegger. Okay. Okay, so let's see what's happening. Can I get my head around this position to even say anything about it of relevance? The C4 square. I know I haven't castled, but I wonder if I can use the C4 square. Okay, there's a ready-made kingside attack over here, which concerns me. If I played bishop c6 to try and threaten b4 now, for bishop takes e4, is that too... I don't know, because it seems as though routinely castling doesn't seem to do it for me. On this particular occasion of this particular position, routinely castling would seem to routinely go into an attack here. I already made one. Alright, let's play b4 now. For bishop takes e4. Try and nip this center pawn. Or take on a4 for knight c4. That might be an interesting alternative. Might be the better one. You know? I think I might do that instead. Because I think there's d5 for bishop c5 after. ed, bishop c5, knight d4, knight d5. Let's have a look at this. So queen takes as knight takes e3, but here I'm thinking d5, ed, bishop c5, knight d5. I think this is interesting. For bishop c5. Okay, so bishop c5. Maybe queen b6, rook c1. Queen b6. Okay, it's sort of French defense style. Queen b6. And then knight d7. There's always f5, that's the snag. So my king is being attacked here. Right, he didn't do f5 immediately. And in fact, there's knight takes e5 the way he's playing this. For bishop d6. So he's going in from one pin to another pin here. Potentially with knight takes e5. Unless he's crashing through with f5. I wouldn't thought so here. Because actually my bishop can drop back to f8 anyway. So f5 with a form pawn might not be lethal if I've got bishop f8 as a possibility to cover g7. Now f5 here, there's knight takes e5, but even with the queen there, because of queen takes bishop d6, it was possible for knight takes e5. In fact, in this position, why not just take and then take on c2? He takes on b4. I can make that a little bit more a sweeter deal by protecting b4 maybe. If I played a5, the problem is knight b5 and then bishop f2. The rook moves, and that seems fairly pointless. Or is it? Okay, I've got to move a bit quickly. 108. Move a little bit quickly here. Okay, I will try and get the things off now without losing b4. Now, if I get the other pig on the 7th, this pigs on the 7th is a very good strategy, because they're sometimes called pigs because they eat a lot of pawns. So, and there's statistically a lot of pawns on the 7th. Okay, so here, 2 pigs on the 7th. Okay, another pawn drops. I think rook d3 and rook c3 is dangerous. Oh, thanks for the game. Thank. Right. Okay. A rematch with Cardinal Super Blinds. Okay. Oh, dreaded Maroxy bind. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. I usually say oh dear when faced the London system, but I think this is also in the top 10 for oh dear openings to play against, which I find it's easy to self-destruct against a certain class of openings, either with too many pawn moves, weaknesses of the last move, etc. It's easy to self-destruct against the tortoise systems, which strangle your counterplay, make you impatient generally. So the tortoise style openings, okay. But here, yeah, it's I need a solid. I think I need a solid waiting plan. A solid waiting plan. I'm thinking knight d7 to c5. Something Bent Larsen might play. I think I might have seen him play the black side of this sometimes. There was also a Nimzovich against Capablanca game going way back. I think that was a draw. Nimzo, I think, forced some perpetual check or something. I think Capablanca was trying to just play on the dark squares. But a solid waiting game. This knight maneuver is nothing really in itself. It's trying to tease b4. I also remember some other Marox bind games like Adams. He's teasing pawns and creating some weaknesses. There was this great game against Plaskett where he played a hedgehoggy system, and his position activity, he sacked like the f7 pawn, and his position was fantastic after. All his pieces were on full blast. So he let his f7 go and looked a little bit dangerous superficially. Sometimes white can overstretch. Now e6 is very tempting here. Probably suspect, especially with an increment game. This would be like really suspect. But because it's this time limit, I don't think I have to be too concerned about d6. Necessarily. Although after b4, it would seem though d6 is on its way out potentially. No, the rook is holding at the moment. d6, okay. So I'm on c4 here. In fact, this might be interesting now, because knight e5, it seems as though white's maybe overplaying his hand with the pawns. Maybe, possibly. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes. So I had no plan basically, like I would have London system. No plan, just trying to tease some pawn moves to give me a plan. This is some sort of plan. c4, the structure is usually very solid with a pawn chain there for the Maroxy bind, almost like a V. The Maroxy V pawn structure, suffocating counterplay. But here I've got something to do, I believe. Aha. Okay, I can take there, I think. Now if takes b6 with a pin on the bishop, I think b5 and knight c4 is interesting. b6 might not necessarily be because of bishop e3, unless there's something magical there I'm missing. I think b5 and knight c4 would seem interesting to try and use that c4 square. Okay, so a5, knight takes b5. I don't think that's any good. I can try and get a battery on this diagonal. I think the thoughts occurred to me. It's a bit outrageous because he's controlling f8 and e7. To get a queen on this diagonal would seem to take some doing. Let's try and play this to tease, I don't know, to try and create that possibility later of a queen and bishop battery somewhere. Alright, can I move this out of the way? Knight e5 is also interesting. Oh, that's okay. So knight e5 here, or e5? No, not e5. All right, hold on a sec. Okay, so the next stage. Oh, f4. Is f4 happening? So basically, I'm doing some nothing moves here. If f4 happens, again, I sense it could be double-edged, f4. I'm hoping it could be double-edged. Could I get rid of this bishop to weaken b4? Or the diagonal generally? Because I think, yeah, with this f4, basically, he's weakened that diagonal. Tactics, knight b2 doesn't do anything. So queen takes b4 here. Why not? Check is dangerous. King g7, but is there a follow-up? Because otherwise I get access to the c5 square by taking out this pawn. Take out this pawn, get the c5 square. Get that check. Why can't I take that? I probably shouldn't, because it's not mandatory. I could play queen c5 check first. No, ed, okay. Alright, there's no queen e5 though, so I'm thinking because there's no queen e5 at the moment, I'll take this, because I'm wondering if the idea was queen e5. Right, I'll play this check because the queen's more central there. If I played rook d6, is there an immediate disaster? Queen 7, rook d7 is possible. I'm hoping there's no immediate. Let's check the forcing moves. Queen e7, rook f7. Okay, thanks for the game, Cardinal. Okay. Perpetual stalemate. Is this a Bart Simpson avatar here? Oh dear opening. Top of the charts of oh dear openings. Okay, with knight d2, huh? The London system with an exotic, exciting, mega exciting move order. Okay, thanks. Now, I think queen b6 here might be plausible. Again, I think my only plan that I've worked out is, it seems to be, from way back actually, I remember playing the London system against Grandmaster Aaron Sumskull over 20 years ago in Blitz, and I think he played this d5 and c5 and queen b6. It does seem to have a certain logic to it. Okay, I'll give my bishop h7 in advance. There's two plans, but maybe the more critical is to play b5. I've just given him the possibility of e4, haven't I? Alright. Well, he's actively undermining my pawn chain. Let's see. Bishop f5, e6, bishop a3, bishop b2 after. This looks as though if I can get all these moves in, this would be good. Bishop a3 to bishop b2, if I get all these moves in. The reason is the rook hasn't got b1 and he would lose a2, it would seem. Is that not the case? Okay. Aha. Aha. And if I took on a1, took on c3, I can take on d4 and take on e5 next. Okay, the London system doesn't appear to be too solid in this example. Thanks, Perpetual Stalemate. Mr. Dodgy. Okay, let's try English opening. Let's take away from the centre here. Just to control that d5 square a bit more. Now I've had some games with Paul Georgia in this line, Blitz games. And sometimes I've won them, sometimes he gets a nice blockade on c5. And I think overall I like the bishop pair as well. So I think overall I've done it okay against Paul Georgia in Blitz from this opening. So by capturing away from the centre, controlling that d5, the queen on c8 might be misplaced later. a4 might be a concern. If I played a4, there's knight a6 to c5. Maybe it's best just to let a4 happen. So there's more time to control c5. g4, knight g3 would seem, yeah, he's designing this against me, castling. So AB, AB. What I don't want is that structure with a4 and then knight a6 to c5. I think I'd rather him dissolve like this. Okay. Okay, my e4 is under fire. It might be worth snapping off c5 here. Funny enough, because there's imminent issues already, because knight g3, ab, and then rook a1 and then knight b3. If I just snap that guy off, just to solve some of the problems, reinforce e4, maybe play for knight f5. I know it seems odd to give up the dark square bishop. There's some justification, I think, for doing that here. Okay, here knight f5 threatens knight e7 check, tactical point. If he took, he opens up my bishop. Let's do this on that rook. Queen c1 to g5 would seem interesting as well. So queen c1, threatening, I hope, queen g5. He's trying to melt my pawn structure over here, CB, AB. Evil intentions to melt my pawn structure. Queen g5 here, though, looks very dangerous. Is this something? Oh, this bishop takes f5. Okay. Maybe c takes, or a takes. Alright, I think I'm giving him pawn over here, actually. Casualty. Queen c1 to g5 though, coming up again without bishop f5 at the moment. It's double pawns, maybe it's not that significant. I've got a small clock advantage, but it's double pawns, it's not exactly a total extra pawn. So queen g5, bishop f5, ef. Unless there's another tactical point I'm missing here. ef opens up the bishop, a bit of e pressure, e pawn pressure. Okay, it seems good to open up the bishop. I think I'm okay here. Bishop c6 might be annoying, rook d8 though. g5 I'm weakening, f5. Is it too far to go g5? I think I'm going to try it. Maybe knight f8, bishop e4. So bishop e4. This has got g6 or something. Oh, there's queen c2. Hold on, g6, queen c2. All right, let's play queen c2 to reinforce f5. I think king g2, rook e3, and something. h4 to protect that. This looks a little bit weakening. I know. All right, there is rook d1 here, trying to kick the queen away. Trying to use that d file. The rook's not doing anything at the moment. Okay, so isn't fg possible? Fg. Anything better? Check bishop e, not bishop e6. And there is a check here on a2, or check on b3. Okay, intriguing. Queen d2 to c d5. Or just queen d2 for a moment, just to hold g5. And the d file, possessing the d file here. Possession itself is not a disaster for black yet, but it does facilitate potential tactical ideas. There is queen d5 check here if I want to win c5. Okay, I am loose in this position. If I play fg, trying to shield my g pawn. If I play h5, alright, I think he's got an h file backfire, but potentially if I played h6 for king g2 and rook h1, there's an h file backfire. And I can use the h file. My queen sits nice there. There's also queen f7 here, but rook f8. I wonder if queen f7 and rook f8, queen e7. I think rook h1 immediately. Pinning is usually a good idea. Yeah, queen g5. Queen c7. I don't know about this bishop d5. It's a bit silly. Why am I doing bishop d5? Let's try and do some sensible moves. Okay, it interrupts his battery though. g4 bishop queen h6. Right, this position might be interesting. I might misjudge that. Right, if I take, how's this ending? Well, let's put the bishop on here for g6. I think it's pre-move time. Rook f8. It's pretty much pre-move time. I win a piece here. Is that enough? I'll keep things solid over here for a moment. Oh, I think we've got a draw here. Okay, we'll play it. Oh, very good, very good. That was pretty exciting, I thought. Okay. A thriller, a morning thriller game. This is a 3-minute game. A 3-minute game. So I'm going to play for a quick f5 in this Grand Prix attack system. If I can play for f5, that is. There's a gambit, takes knight g5 I played before. I don't want the queens off, basically. But I played this gambit in an over the board game once, and it was a really good game, interestingly. I think the dark squares get compromised. There's a bit of compensation there if takes knight g5 with a bit of compensation, I hope. So sometimes it's best to be casual about loss of material and just seek and celebrate the compensation that results. Even in a longer time control, sometimes the casual, it's almost like being casual about losing material, but often material loss has positional compensation, so it's not all bad losing a pawn like that if he has to give up the thin chattered bishop. But anyway, because when someone gives up the thin chattered bishop of material, yeah, there's often going to be compensation if the king's casting over there later. Okay, the pawn loss here, I mean, does me a few favours as well, because the bishop seems better than this counterpart. I've got f4, I've got the h5 square. It seems initially this could be rosy. Knight f4 to h5. Okay, so if I do this for a moment, I guess bishop h6 was possible. Takes queen h5 check. Yeah, maybe bishop h6 was interesting as well, or even just check. Okay. The king's in the center, so I'm going to align my rook to the king. Okay, I think I'll just give up the bishop here. The king's still in the center. I want to open up the e file. Am I doing anything? Okay, do I need to find something concrete here or something? Maybe c3, cd. Right, if I get the light squares out of this, if I get that light square bishop. So g6 now is an issue. Right, so cd here. And bishop b4 maybe? I'm thinking rook e5 almost. Almost. Let's try maybe a saner move. No need to go crazy yet, is there? Bishop a6 for queen a8. I'll get rid of this bishop. Okay, he's got a form pawn. Could be dangerous. Well, I don't seem to have much from what's happened, except for a big clock advantage. Don't have that much objectively. May just take that knight off to be boring. Oh, I've got this pin. Okay, so I got a pin with rook e5 down. I can exploit the pin, I hope. Get the king out of the form pawn's harm. Try and pick up the form pawn. Try and pick up e5. d4. Or not. No, he picks up d3. Okay, that wasn't entirely clever. Alright, thanks, Honkley. That was exciting 3-minute game there. So, Goggin Paul, hi there. Why am I pre-moving CD? That's an interesting question. I think pre-moves don't have a place here at this moment. Let's keep the options open. I think b4 gaining space. Alright, e5 shuts down that bishop for sure. So it's sort of making sure this Roy Lepesian bishop is not going to do too much damage immediately, at least. It looks a little bit like a Roy Lepez position. As such, I think I've seen this plan before, knight b7 to c5. One slight downside of white gaining the space here is that the dark square is sometimes a bit more vulnerable. So knight b7 to c5, and even to try and loosen the dark squares, I think bishop d8 to b6. Maybe that's a good preliminary, actually. Bishop d8, or is it a bit slow? Maybe knight h7 to g5. Let's see, bishop d8 to b6. Alright, it's immediately going to put a knight on f5. That's out of the window, that idea. Let's try and... oh, this looks like dangerous now. It looks pretty dangerous. I think white's playing this really, really well. He's doing everything. It looks like a good recipe he's using from the strategy book, recipe strategy book. Knight on f5, kingside space, g5 break. I don't know how annoying I can be from this position, how much counterplay is limited. Is it Karpov against Unzicker or something? Karpov's classic game where he exploits this space advantage. He has this rook a7, iconic rook a7 there. Although bishop a7, not rook a7, bishop a7 is a prelude to doubling on the a file. So anyway, fg, I can have the f6 square maybe for a knight. How would a knight get to f6? c5 d7 f6. which will put pressure on h5 here. This might be a plan all of a sudden. Knight d7 to f6. And then wriggle the bishop on this diagonal. So knight d7 to f6. So on h5, that will tie down the rook a bit, and then wriggle this bishop here. And then maybe a5, b4 plan. So I'm threatening bishop b6 now. Right, so a5, b4, and this is anything tactical. This will try and activate this rook on the b file, b4 plan here. Alright, our pieces are in better shape, I think, now. I think they've integrated with the pawn structure a bit more than earlier. When the bishop was just there, it didn't seem very good. I think the pieces are more integrated with the perks of the pawn structure now. So b4. If I took and then rook b4, or just bishop d4 here, keeping the pin for rook b4, rook b2. There's also queen a7, battering rook e1. Let's have a look at this. g4, fg, knight e4. Okay, the knight's hanging. Oh, I think rook b2 plan and queen a7 looks dangerous. Queen a7, rook b2. Or here, maybe, just for b2. I'll take on b2. Okay. Now bishop c6, there is a check. And then rook a2 maybe. Alright, maybe just rook a2 immediately. Pigs on the 7th again. So queen b6 check threatens to nudge the king away maybe. Or king e1, bishop g3 anyway. Nudge the king away. The bishop's holding up as well. So c3 here. Right, so if I take the queens off. Maybe c2 now wins material. So g4 to get the knight in. For knight e4. Trying to avoid stalemates. Trying to avoid stalemate, if possible. King f1 is possible. Let's make sure the opponent's got moves. Thanks, Gordon Paul. Okay, the mechanic. So, what do we have here? It's not quite an English opening because there's knight c3 without c4. It's curious. Knight b5 might be threatened. I think a6 might be a safety precaution move here. Or d6. Maybe d6 is possible. Yeah, I'm just wondering if d5 has got knight b5. That might be embarrassing. Oh, there's always e5. It's not clear cut. Like the c7 is fatal. It's hard for me to get my head around this. It's more tactical than like pawn structure based. So it's hard to make a waffly comment which is relevant really at the moment. White has fast development piece activity. Could even castle queenside rapidly. I'm underdeveloped. e5 would compromise d5. e6, I don't know. I think let's play it like a Sicilian defense for a moment. Almost. a6, e6. I'm hoping this is okay, except d6 if he castles. Maybe e5 here is justified. Alright, let's go with this. This is what I found. If you get Watson's Play the French, it's an iconic book in chess literature, as far as I'm concerned. The French defence by its nature is very positional. There's a lot of pawn structure themes, more in the French defence than, say, the Sicilian. So even if you play the Sicilian, it might be worth getting Watson's Play the French, just to understand about, pawn chain undermining, breaking out lines. It's more structurally based, and for me, it's often more instructive when the pawn structure not just slows down the game, but it makes explaining a game a lot easier than, say, a Wild West Sicilian defence game with tactics everywhere. There is a little bit of a tactic. Bishop a6, queen b6 is on b2 and a6. So yeah, I don't know if any of you have got Watson's Play the French. I just think it's an iconic book. Just for learning about pawn structure and stuff, undermining. Even if you don't play the French. I don't know about you guys who've seen that. Van Geet opening, is it? Someone's mentioned Esgroga. It says knight c3. This is Van Geet's opening, right? Aha. Okay. So e4 here. I don't know. Definitely not castling. I don't want a mouse slip for castling, which has happened to me recently. I think I might have to play. Okay, let's not panic. Let's not panic about this potential mouse slip. Hold on a sec. Okay, probably queen a6 to start off with, just to hold the a4 pawn, and put my king cheekily on c7, away from the line of fire. It means I can play rook b7 and rook fb8. I remember some Karpov-Kasparov games where they both didn't castle it. It seemed to result in really creative games at one point. Karpov-Kasparov, some of the games which might have ended in draws, but some really creative ones where they didn't castle. It's quite fascinating. So here I'm thinking it's safe enough for the king on c7 at the moment. Now maybe I'm wrong here. e4 could open up the game. The king, I think, needs to be a little bit safer again. I need to be ready for e4 ed. If I'm ready for that now, for cd, with a rook benefits now. He has killed my f8 bishop. This is ready for a battery if I did ever move that bishop. And stretch out this pawn. He's killed my f8 bishop. If I played e4, is it too committal? I'm going to commit to e4. And maybe f5, and the bishop benefits this. I think I can control the f4 square against knight g2 to f4. Let's give the rook scope to go to g7. Let's open up this rook a bit more. Let's battery-ize the rooks for hg to be more effective. Actually, I've made up that word. I don't think there's a word batterize. Okay, let's do a rook battery. Is more, I think, sensible to say. Okay, FG seems plausible. Bishop, F5 maybe. F5. Okay, there's an assault in progress here against my king now, isn't there? Let's see, can I... Okay. Okay. Now it's dangerous. Now it's dangerous. Protect a4. Gonna swing by with rook c7 and there's rook b4. What have I done? There's queen c5 there. I have to give up my queen. Oh. Can I get rook c7 in before it's too late? Can I survive 20 seconds? I will survive. Is that song? Okay. I don't know if that's possible to survive here. Rook d7 for d4. d3. Gloria Gaynor or something? I will survive. Okay. d3 coming up. I've got a dangerous passed pawn here, clearly. Um, 6 seconds, I will survive. To another day. To another move. I'm sorry, I had to give up my queen. I had to give up my queen. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look. I knew something was up there. I knew it. I knew it. It just... Let's have a look here. Bang! Plus 7.7. I've just gone in one move. I had to play bishop takes d5. And I was fine, it seems, according to engine here. Why is that? You know why? There's a technical reason why this is not as deadly. I've still got the shelter of the c-pawn. I think one needs pawns around one's king. So, because I've seen an attacking game recently, Grisha sacked just to strip pawns around the king, but I've done it to myself here. This c-pawn is a shelter on the c-file, and I've basically blundered here in a horrific sense by playing this pawn away from my king, and immediately it looks as though this is really dangerous now. I blunder here. And the thing is, I've just noticed now, see, if the c pawn was on c6, this wouldn't be an issue, would it? There'll be king c7. There'd be more options for the king, right? King c7. Because I've taken a pawn away from my king, there's no king c7. And actually, it's a catastrophe with this forced mate in 2 here. So, yeah, pawns, yeah, maybe I'm underestimating king safety sometimes for pawns near the king. I mean, you can see that it's more options for the poor king. If the pawn was on c6, here, I'd play king c7, right? Oh, blimey. Okay. So I have to, like, give up the queen. And here is where it's a blitz game, which is the lucky thing for me. It's a blitz game. And so white's always up against the clock to finish off. I'm just playing moves which I think I'm not going to get mated with. And as soon as white's going passive, it's going to take even more time to win this game with like 10 seconds in a practical sense. But yeah, well played. Broke through, basically. Broke through. Okay. Maroxy 23. Pawns around the king. Pawns around the king. It does make for a very exciting game. So actually, one of the games I've covered recently, this Grishuk game, he got rid of some pawns around Caruana's king. You know, Caruana, one of the top players in the world. And after that, loads of tactics because of all the checks and possibilities. The king really loves pawns around it, generally speaking. Gives the poor king some options. Can I play f4 here? I'm wondering. A bit symmetrical, isn't it? Very symmetrical at the moment. The only difference is, well, actually no, there's a few differences in the position, quite a few. So this is a typical Botvinnik system, but it might be an overstretched Botvinnik with me playing f4 immediately in this position. It might be a little bit overstretched. The knight on e8 means sometimes when you're taking on f5, there's a knight coming there. Okay, e takes, bishop takes, there might be g4 here. I think this might be interesting just to dissolve this tension. It opens up the bishop. If bishop f5, I'm thinking g4. And this bishop g4, and then knight g4, and then queen h4 is really dangerous. And then queen e1, and there might be ef and knight d4 trying to get this diagonal. It's a bit dicey. What about just f takes for the moment, and then g4? Let's try and lock this bishop in. That gives d4 pressure. Okay. Alright, so basically everything has got some controversy around it here. Everything. g4 is controversial. F takes definitely controversial, even though it might isolate a pawn. It's a lock and key on d4. Bishop e3. Maybe bishop e3 is one of the more solid choices. Knight h5, king h2, ef, knight f4, then I've got a nice d5. I think bishop e3 might be a solid choice. So let's see. King h2, queen d2, rook at e1 would seem at least that the pieces are ready, all of them, including the a1 rook. So king h2, queen d2, rook a e1 feels okay to me. Just to recap that, I just found some controversy with f takes, d takes, and I found controversy with g4. So okay, let's protect this bishop as well. Now sometimes there's a rook e3 to look out for, but I don't think it's here. So ef, knight takes, rook takes, I don't think that works. I'm hoping it doesn't work. Queen takes. When a bishop can sometimes pounce the d4, you've got to watch this diagonal. That's what I mean. If king h2 to take away from this diagonal is sometimes good, but it also protects h3 anyway. If there's queen d7, it's protecting h3. I need g4, there's bishop g4 there, knight takes, and it's check, and it's on e3 and the king. Alright, I'll play this, king h2, I believe. Actually, there's another plan. There's another plan here. Possibly. Of rook f2 and rook af1. This might be more interesting, I think. I'll try this. This might be more interesting. Might or might not be. F1. Bit pointless actually, isn't it? Just thinking, unless I'm going to do f takes and rook f5. Okay, it's probably a bit pointless. d4. You know, d4 rings a bell as a thematic sort of pawn move. I think I'll play d4. Ed bishop d4. I'll give up the dark square bishop. Out of necessity, out of tactical necessity, which is a concession, yeah. But you know, otherwise rook e3 if knight e4. So yeah, he's probably, I don't know, he's probably outplayed me in a technical sense now. Unless there's some perk of giving up the dark square bishop. Right, there's bishop f6 here to win an exchange potentially. Bishop g2, bishop takes g7. Here, this knight takes e4. Win an exchange. So queen e3, I think, to keep control of the e file. Then something like rook e2, queen e8. Alright, I'll take that. I'll protect that with this one as well before queen e8. To have the cake and eat it. The cake being queen e8. Eating it being without rook a2. Better expression. To have the cake and eat it. So queen e8, check. Alright. Don't want to give my opponent too many pawns. If I just protect the pawns for a moment. Got 3 to 2 over here, so g4 and f5. Alright, thanks for the game, Roxy. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed today's super early in the morning edition. So I'm going to go back to bed now. No, I'll try and stay up now. Okay, yeah. Alright, yeah. If you want to vote, so between 1 and 10, where 1, you found it boring, 2 less boring, 5 sort of medium boring, medium interesting, 10. So sorry, let's say 1 boring, 10 fun. Up to 10 where it was fun. So 1 boring, up to 10 where it was fun. Someone didn't quite get this. So if you want to vote between 1 and 10, whereas 10 is fun, right? 9 is almost great as fun. Okay, anyway, yeah, if you want to quickly vote, okay, on the chat, that'd be cool. So otherwise, yeah, have a rest, have a good, rest for the rest of the Sunday. And see you next week, hopefully at a more normal time. Yeah, a more normal time, hopefully next week. Remember that discount code I mentioned? If you've just come to the show, remember this Kingscrusher discount code, voucher code. It's 15% off Challenging Me or other streamers. You just turn up 20 to 30 minutes beforehand, send your challenge, and then we'll accept your challenges later. So I usually have it the other way around. Okay, I've confused it today. It's too early. Okay. See you later, guys. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thank you.